And welcome to the NXT review. I'm Adam Wilbourn from What Culture, joined by the other Dudley boys of What Culture, Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to review last night's episode of NXT. And I think it's fair to say, Sidge, that last night's episode of NXT was better than anything that AEW can produce all year. Do you disagree? Well, there you have it. I'm joking, of course. Sidgwick under the weather today. Get well soon, mate. So it's just me and Hamflett.
So it's just you piling on.
Just me and Hamflett here to review last night's episode of NXT. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review the show formerly known as NXT 2.0, that's a minute hour Friday now. Pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete. A very good quiz, of course, on Wrestle Culture. As I said, though, joined by Hamflett to review last night's episode of NXT, which we can all agree was absolutely sensational.
Apparently we all can, yeah. My regular viewers and listeners will know that this week I've been struggling with an inner ear issue. And your hello at the start of this podcast popped it like the microphones would do sometimes where you just can't hear anything. Half that intro was lost. It was just like I felt like I was listening to it underwater. But then it made me think, well, what if there was like an NXT character that was a scuba diver? Ooh. And then like they could be watching NXT as if from a tank at like SeaWorld or something like that.
They could wrestle in flippers. Are they called flippers? What are they called?
Yeah. Flippers, the mask, the whole deal.
They have to climb on the top rope and fall in backwards.
Oh my God.
They're going to fall out of a boat.
Like a coffin drop, but better. Is that what we're saying? Do you agree, Sidge? And yeah, that bit's now dead. Unlike NXT, which is alive and well.
Oh, yeah.
I think we can all agree.
Bit of a worry on this show about the potential loss of something.
Oh, it was heartbreaking. We had the Oscar nominations yesterday, a day too late, if you ask me, because Duke Hudson and Andre Chase selling the potential heartbreak of, well, I mean, we'll get into it on the review, but the dark days that might be ahead for Chase U, I felt like should have got a bit more consideration. Certainly more than Margot Robbie got for Barbie, anyway.
NXT, of course, soon on Netflix, which confirms WWE is officially cinema now. So
quite unbelievable. It's an unbelievable bit of business. This, I think, will there'll be many a podcast where we'll speak about WWE's move to Netflix. But this is the NXT one, so let's cover that for a bit. NXT got that nice deal from CW.
Yeah.
I think they're going to move in America soon. What a strange lifespan it's been for this brand since it landed on TV in 2019, basically as a bit of stubborn gamesmanship from WWE to try and clip AEW's wings, then away from the CWC and skills. It kind of did actually define enough of its own identity to get a TV deal all of itself. The little multi-billion-dollar engine that could, covered in paint splatters and cum, got its own TV deal, and now it'll be, live on demand, available on catch-up immediately after it's aired. Not that you would, but you can skip the intro if you like. I can't quite believe that something like 75 million homes in America every Wednesday morning will wake up and watch NXT. I think wrestling has healed. Like, I think I am ready to say that it's a great time to be a wrestling fan and mean it across the entire spectrum. Yeah. If AEW continues on this upward trajectory and then we just simply do not talk about New Japan, the independent scene, Japanese wrestling as a whole, the declining state of Brit Res since the boom pass or anything like that, I think we're definitely on the road to wrestling finally fixing itself post-pandemic.
Well, let's talk about the best wrestling show of the week, NXT. Open with a big recap of the Battle Royal and then the subsequent four-way that Roxanne Perez won to get the title shot at NXT. Contract signing later on in the show. But the first action was the semi-finals of the Dusty Cup. It was the Wolf Dogs.
Yeah.
Braun Breakker and Baron Corbin versus Axiom. Nerd! And Nathan Frazer.
When I'm cleaning windows.
A great team.
They're a great team. They're such a great team that I'm surprised that you haven't yet put the buttons together, because one of the great joys that I get on this podcast, and there are many on this specific podcast, is watching you hurriedly move across the panel to get to when I'm cleaning windows before Homer stops saying nerd.
Yeah.
Like, I suppose if they were to stop teaming and then feud together.
Oh, you'd have to.
You'd have to get them on the same page. But yeah, I mean, they were on the same page here, I suppose. And the match was fantastic.
Yes.
We said it was going to be a lovely bit of matchmaking, but I think this over-delivered on my expectations.
I loved Braun's reaction when Baron Corbin came out of the wolf head and he was like, "You're doing the thing."
I don't know how they've, as heels especially, I don't know how they've made Bron Breakker one of those, he's like a super fan from the era where WWE used to treat the nostalgia shows as an opportunity to just bury the young kids, but in a way that like earnestly works. It's no longer when DX would arrive on the scene and the young, cool, hip stable were required to be like, "Oh my God, here's these like 50-year-olds telling us to suck their penises. Whoa!" Like, this is now Bron Breakker just, I can't believe he's in on my dumb idea. Was my idea brilliant after all? Baron Corbin seems to have validated it. It shouldn't work, but it really does. Any pitch that I've ever made about them losing the Dusty Cup and splitting up, like, I kind of want it to fritter away and just have them stay together. They're going to turn babyface, aren't they?
It's one of those ones where even I'm like, if they took the titles off the family, maybe I'll allow it.
I mean, the family couldn't touch them either. Don't repeat that. Obviously, when I'm saying, like, don't let him know, but you'll be here in the studio, right?
Well, I'd need to be. It'd be ridiculous if it was just one of us.
Exactly, yeah. So, like, when Stacks gets here, don't tell him that I've said this, but it does sort of feel like an inevitability at this point, as over as they're getting, that the Wolf Dogs are going to not just beat the family for the belts, but potentially squash them. This would be just a destruction job on the family.
Also, I'm booking spots for them to lose. They speared Tony so hard his hat came off. I'd quite like that. His hat stays in place like a cartoon. Drops to the floor.
So what you're pitching, just to be clear on this, is NXT somehow formulating a spot in which they literally defy gravity. Right, I mean, let's go.
The match started before the bell even rang.
Nathan Frazer could do that because he's fast enough, isn't he?
Axiom and Nathan Frazer realised they were kind of up against it, so they attacked them before the bell even rings. There's stereo suicide dives, drop kicks against the barricade. Corbin and Breakker are in trouble. They hoy one of them in the ring and dominate. But just as we're about to go to break, the tide turns and the high flying finally catches up with Frazer and Axiom. Corbin counters a flying head scissors and power bombs Axiom on the announce desk.
Oh my God.
Whilst Breakker caught Frazer in a high cross and just power slammed him.
That ruled, by the way. Like, that sounds like a kind of your very typical big man, little man spot, but it's worth going out your way to watch this match. I'd say, for anybody that doesn't. I know it's NXT and sometimes you just listen to us and never catch the show. Please go and check this one out. But the fluidity at which he does the catch and then drop, there's no, that's like steady myself. It's just like a shotgun blast, isn't it, the way he drills him into the floor. Perfect use of the power versus the pace.
So we went to a break and we came back with another awesome spot. Breakker's got Axiom. He sort of, I think it was a back suplex into a cutter, basically. Great. Hang on.
Oh my God.
Great spot that as well.
Again, just making the most of the size disparity and the way that like the smaller guys can move around the bigger ones. Just a perfect use of all four.
Eventually, Axiom gets over to his corner, tags in Nathan Frazer, and I felt like I was watching Fastlane because it was like, he's flying around, jumps off the top turnbuckle, flying crossbody onto both of the Wolf Dogs. Axiom and Frazer hit back-to-back frog splashes to get 2 count. There's a submission spot. I think they've got Corbin in a submission. And Breakker doesn't dive in to break it up. He power bombs Axiom onto Nathan Frazer to break it up, which is one way of doing it.
Unreal.
There's a great near fall as well that makes you question what the finish is going to be because Frazer charges. Corbin catches him with a deep 6, which is still...
Oh my God.
It's that and Andrade spinning back elbow I always say this, are 2 of my favourite non-finishers.
We're going to get to another example of this in just a second, but again, like the perfect mesh of Frazier's speed and a move that suits countering the speed because it looked like he was going to drill him through the ring with it.
There's a DVD to Axiom and into a brain buster, but Axiom kicks out. Corbin can't believe it. The babyfaces come back. Spanish fly on Breakker from Frazer and a Phoenix splash, but Corbin dives in and breaks it all up. He eventually hits Axiom at the end of days, goes for on Frazer, but Frazer counters and turns round into a ridiculous
Oh my God.
spear yet again from Bran Breakker. 1, 2, 3. They're into the finals at Vengeance Day.
Oh my God, that spear, it's the best in wrestling.
Yep.
You know, Braun Breaker versus Darby Allin is quickly becoming, like a lot of people ask us, oh, what would be your AEW versus WWE dream match? I don't have a lot, because I'm quite engaged in the WWE stories as they stand, and the AEW roster is so big, you're like, you know what, I could just do with seeing some of them wrestlers fight each other before worrying about things across the divide. No, there's one. Like, I want to see, like, surely the man delivering the best spear versus a guy that sells being killed better than anybody else in wrestling is the new wrestling dream match, because I think Frazer...
You can see why they paired Dolph with Braun, for
Absolutely,
example.
yeah. And Frazer runs Allen's cell in a close second, and runs faster than anybody, because he gave it beans, didn't he, running into that spear. It's got to be seen to be believed, quite honestly.
Is it the thumbnail? Yeah.
Braun just keeps doing this. And obviously I'm not saying it's a 50-50 split. It's probably like a 60-40 or 70-30. I don't know. I've never delivered or taken a spear quite like that. But the way in which, obviously, Frazer attacks the move himself, knowing that he's going to be hit with it, and then contorts in time with, like, Braun, who, to his credit, bravely just does not stop. He's like, well, this better work out. You wonder if he's closing his eyes, thinking we could be ending up at the post here. I just don't know, because he doesn't appear. Like, if you watch his steps, he doesn't appear to be putting the hesitation step in or anything like that. There's almost no, like, I love Rhino's gore.
Yes.
But there's almost not really like a leap or a spring in Braun's step. It's all power, and then they're in the air almost naturally rather than with any kind of jump. It's magic, absolutely magic. The perfect finish to, again, a lovely bit of matchmaking. And the Wolf Dogs have been one of the several success stories from a really enjoyable Dusty Cup.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is feeling a bit weird. I don't like it. It's all very pro wrestling, this. We're going to get to NXT shortly. But this was Monday Night Raw quality, guys.
So the NXT champion, Ilya Dragunov, is backstage having a chat that I suppose he would describe as...
Oh, Christ almighty. Right. Very entertaining. Please come back soon, Sid.
Josh Briggs... Josh
It's
Briggs.
right entertaining. I bloody love Ilya Dragunov. I say what I like, and I like what I bloody well say.
It's Sharks. Punch your nose.
He would as well. I'm the only man in history of mankind to break his own neck twice in the same match.
Josh Briggs interrupts.
Broke it myself, just to make a point.
He's obviously been told by JBL he needs to find out who he is.
Wakefield's Ilya Dragunov. Me and Tit Cribs. Biggest things come out this town. We haven't even got a football club. Biggest town in country without one. It's true, that. Briggs
wants to test himself against Ilya. And Ilya's admiring of the bravery, but he's not sure if that Briggs is...
There's PG f***ing tips.
If that's what Briggs actually wants.
No, me better than I don't drink that swill. Don't take none of that neither should you.
He suggests... Briggs, says maybe you're afraid, you know, double booking, Trick, etc., etc. They get into each other's faces, but Trick comes in to separate it all and says to Briggs, "Prove yourself another day. You know, I've got a title match and I want to actually do it this time." Basically, they get into an argument, and Trick says, "Look, you want to prove yourself against me." It's basically Trick saying to Ilya, "Just make it to Judgment Day, Vengeance Day."
It's not. Ilya Dragunov for the Judgment Day.
And Ilya says, "Well, I'll be at Vengeance Day, but will you? I'll be watching tonight." So that's up the match for later.
Yeah, fine.
Ren is backstage. Ren Sinclair, of course, who debuted last week in place of Cora Jade. Get well soon, Cora Jade. She's hyping herself up. She's very nervous in the locker room. But in comes Fallon Henley, who checks on her. Ren says, "First ever singles match for me. I'm trying to make friends here, but also not trying to make enemies, too many enemies." Very giddy, basically. And Fallon says, "Look, just take a breath. I know myself. It's not easy being the new girl, but you're off to a great start. You eliminated Lash Legend from the Battle Royal last week. Best of luck," basically. And Ren Sinclair high-fives herself and runs off.
Yeah. I thought this was going somewhere else in the post-match from Ren Sinclair. We'll get to that a little bit later, I suppose. But Fallon Henley, I love that how NXT's, like, these locker room skits are never really any better no matter how long you spend in the PC, because I'm guessing Hindu squats with Coach Bloom don't turn you into a good actor of terrible scripted dialogue. But nonetheless, the cycle is that if you spend long enough there, you kind of become like the dead man of the locker room. So like Fallon Henley is now like, you get out there running, then when you get backstage, we'll get the bones out.
Okay, about a guy's a bunch of beers.
Fallon, mate, you ran a pub 6 months ago.
I love my favourite thing about Fallon Henley. Incredibly talented.
I think she's good, yeah.
But the gimmick of her, like, I was once looking at the top shelf and I thought, maybe I'm top shelf. So I'm top shelf. Right? Okay, got it. Yeah, brilliant.
Bye, bitch. In a friendly way.
So on to the next backstage segment. This one I was sort of led. You know in the cartoons where the like old lady bakes a cherry pie and leaves it on the windowsill to cool?
Like, and then the dog sort of like floats in the air following the lines.
But it was sort of reversed. So I sniffed something, followed the scent, and it led me to HBK's office.
Right,
because Shawn Michaels is cooking. But Shawn Michaels doesn't walk out. Ava does. She hasn't got a surname. She's The Rock's daughter, which is...
and has it ever been better to be that, by the way?
Served her rather well. She walks out, but so does a returning William Regal. Welcome home.
Slithers out of the kitchen of HBC, the Heartbreak Chef himself. Always sheds his skin next to the right star, doesn't he, William?
He's back to help his son. That's what he's here.
Right, yeah.
Story, and he's sticking to it.
He's got, I left one Gallus over there. I made to create a new one over here. You want all your favourite wrestlers to become boring as you come with me.
So they reveal that Ava is officially the youngest GM in WWE. Regal gives her a bit of advice. Look after NXT for him. It's a thankless job, long hours, egos to juggle, and hard decisions to make, but she can do it. And my phone is always on, and he shakes her hand.
Yes, some might. I'm going to ignore William Regal. Some might say that this was this has always been nepotism in action. But as CM Punk outlined on Raw, it is sometimes as much a burden as a gift.
Yeah.
Being a second generation star. So I'm going to take a different tact on this to some of the criticism I've seen over the years, I guess, of Ava's performance ability at this point. Is this not something we as wrestling fans manifested all along? Have the old curmudgeons like myself and Sidgwick not for years said that we grew up on an authority figure in Jack Tunney so uniformly awful on screen that you actually believed he was involved in an administrative capacity and not there to be put in front of a microphone? And I, for one, credit Ava with trying to mimic that. I'm assuming that's what her performance style is based on, because it cannot be on being in front of a camera.
What a day for the Johnson household.
Well, indeed. Yeah. What was it? Nicholas will love this. He's big. You can't hear his voice sometimes, but I'll speak for him. He's a big rock guy. And kind of the biggest rock guy in the office.
He's leaving.
And did you see, Nicholas? Did you...
Hang on.
No, I am not the biggest rock guy.
Stay there, but actually, you might raise an eyebrow at this one. Huh? Did you see what The Rock earned for taking up the position as the...
please.
$7?
It was $30 million and $7.
Oh, what a ledge.
Why is that, Wilbourn?
I think...
I don't know that. I don't know the story. There must be some lore to this.
I thought he doesn't like to talk about this,
Okay.
but I think when he started out, he only had $7 in his pocket.
Right.
No
way. $7 in a dream, probably.
And he probably looked at that money and he said,
Hey,
that's...
you all right?
You seen this? Was it you telling about this, Nicholas? You seen this? You heard about this? This In-N-Out burger thing.
What's this?
Oh my God.
I've never had an In-N-Out, by the way. I'd love to.
To speak to The Rock, nor has he, even though he's like tweeted about it 3 times. Hey, wow, my first In-N-Out burger. And then it's like, yeah, that's been on Instagram 3 times, Dwayne. Did they not like take the sponsorship? Like nudge or something?
Come on, guys.
Can't believe this. Wow, this In-N-Out burger tastes so good. Why haven't I been here before? Like sort of
6 months earlier. So it's time for Lash Legend versus Ren Sinclair. Kind of a squash this, but which makes sense. Ren's only just arrived, etc., etc. Gets some offense in. She jumped on Lash's back for a sleeper, but Lash just ran into the ropes and hung her on the top, and then mounted her with punches, and then just slammed her head into the mat.
Good.
In the end, well, there's a bit of cheating as well, because you had Jakara Jackson, Ora Mensah, and Noam Dar there at ringside. Jakara...
There in the metaphor.
Jakara Jackson kept interfering. Ren Sinclair went for a sunset flip a couple of times. The second time, Jackson tries to cheat, but Ren manages to get a roll-up, but as a result of the shenanigans and her getting rid of Jakara Jackson, she turns around into a big choke bomb from Lash Legend for the 1-2-3. Post-match, it looks like Metaphor are all going to kick the crap out of Ren Sinclair, but Fallon Henley runs down, makes the save, and clears the ring.
Yeah, a couple of things here. So I thought this was effective in that ultimately we know Lash Legend's got limitations, but they're starting to highlight the positives and hide the negatives. Kind of in the best way for Lash Legend. She's got a pretty decent power game, and the best way you exploit that is put her in there with smaller wrestlers. Ren, meanwhile, is very much the bird that hasn't quite yet left the nest. So you can have her lose in situations like this. A proper underbird dog, and there wasn't a lot to like about the in-ring, but you got the story.
Yeah.
You got the basic premise here. Fallon Henley making the save was interesting because I thought they were going to go a little bit further with this. As you say, there was Jakara Jackson running interference constantly, and not that all the members of the Metaphor were going to suddenly attack Ren, but there was still a numerical advantage with the Metaphor.
Yeah.
And I thought that as part of the ranch segments the other week, that Tiffany Stratton begrudgingly was going to come out as well, helping Fallon Henley as sort of there. We're not mates, but we've kind of there's a bit of
my respect.
Yeah, the mutual respect. Very much Punk Wardlow-esque in a way. You survive an epic rivalry together. You might have started on opposite sides, but now you've come to join forces. She was nowhere to be found, and I just think the timing of that is particularly strange with the Royal Rumble looming this weekend. This felt like the most natural place to slot Tiffany Stratton back into the NXT world. And if they're not doing that, is it not just a Rumble cameo? Is it a call-up?
I think so as well, because I saw people complaining on social media about, where the hell's Tiffany Stratton in recent weeks? And I think it's very deliberate that they've not had her on screen following the ranch stuff.
It's the old cliche thing of leaving any territory. You sort of have the big matches, you win the title, you lose the title, you fall in a bath, you move on.
Slip on some poo.
That's it, slip on poo, move to the next territory, a bigger star than you were before.
I'd say
Tale as old as time.
In terms of we'll talk a little bit now about NXT stars you could see in the Rumble, because I think out of everyone in NXT, I'd say she's probably odds-on favourite for me to make an appearance. For all the reasons you've laid out, she's done everything really she can in NXT. She's feuded with Becky Lynch as well, so she's kind of had that main roster test almost. Yeah. For me, it's not the same as, a sporadic Roxanne Perez or a Zoe Stark appearance like we got last year, in terms of here's a little sneak peek and then we'll bring them up when we want to post-WrestleMania or when the storyline calls for it. I'd have arguably even potentially lead to a story to go to WrestleMania. You have her eliminate a big name perhaps from the Rumble. I've suggested Bianca Belair if they've got now better for her. I think that would be a brilliant feud. But it feels like, Tiffany's almost guaranteed, I'd say, to be in the Women's Royal Rumble. Yeah,
there's it's especially with the new NXT between Shawn Michaels and Triple H and the synergy we've talked about. That's so much better than it was with Triple H and Vince. There's a lot of different ways to skin this cat now, isn't there? With NXT to main roster, I think whereas once upon a time there just seemed like a flow of talent, and Triple H was always looking at replenishing his stocks because he knew sooner or later somebody was going to get the call, and then they go onto the main roster and they just sink or swim. Now, and this is how it always should have been, it's case by case. So the Royal Rumble is a perfect opportunity to give somebody a debut with a Tiffany Stratton where you think, actually, you're just ready. You can come up. This doesn't need to be a one-night thing. We can give you a few eliminations. We can maybe set up a story. We can announce you to the world, and then we can play some videos and say, you saw her in the Rumble, and next week she's going to be on Raw, or next week she's going to be on SmackDown. All the while, as you mentioned Roxanne Perez last year, it's just as good as a cameo spot. You get one night in front of a massive crowd, we would assume, a very, very switched on WWE-centric crowd that, in Roxanne's case last year, are going to receive you as a star in a way that you've never really looked in the much smaller confines of NXT.
I think Cora Jade might have made an appearance this year before she got injured.
I think so. I definitely think so. They were bringing her back, obviously, with a view of the fast track to the title. But again, there's no rules anymore. You can have this one great night in the Rumble, then go back to NXT and carry on with the weirdness. Or this could be the actual turning point where you say, right, actually, no, I'm main roster ready.
Who else do you reckon could make an appearance on Saturday?
This is a big Rumble to WrestleMania period for NXT too. They've got Stand and Deliver, there's Vengeance Day on the horizon. you know, if you were looking, say for example, at the moment, Melo's on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So he's already kind of had that main role, but he's also involved in this huge title program in NXT. So to just lift him out of it would potentially be reckless. But, you know, like, who's not really up to much on NXT at the moment, but has been there long enough to swim, I guess, like a Gigi Dolin.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like, there's no obvious storyline that she's involved in. Her work, if we're honest, is hit and miss, but there's a fairly well-established character, a striking presence.
Yes.
I think she would add some flair to that women's division and maybe motivate Triple H to at least tell some stories around her, if nothing else. Who else?
Bron Breakker's an obvious one. I know he's involved in stuff with the tournament.
Yeah. Bron Breakker, we were in Dallas in 2022 watching him win the NXT title for a second time on a Raw.
Yeah.
When it very much felt like, if he loses here, is he just going to live on Raw now? So there's been the conversation around him getting this call up for years and years. But in that time, he's not been spinning his wheels. He's worked out the kinks as a babyface. He's learned how to be a great heel. He's developed like a killer finisher, which he didn't have for the longest time in the form of this spear. He's fully formed now. You could do this tag run with Baron Corbin. Ironically, a guy who came back to NXT and he's like, "Oh, we're great friends." And Bron's like, "Yeah, this is amazing, but Postman Pierce and the SmackDown general manager, can't remember his name, are kind of like ringing my phone off the hook at the moment. Like, I think there might be a slot for me here." Again, an Impact player in a Rumble, loads of kick-ass spears. This is not going to, I don't think everyone's going to love this. He's become a bit of an ironic fave on this podcast, and I would love to see that throne dragged all the way down the aisle.
Oh my God.
Lexis King might just generate a niche pep from those that know him. He's a preposterous human being.
Get like the real short spot in the Rumble.
Honestly,
and
right.
Sell it as like, well, I was in the Rumble.
You could dress any one of the other 29 up in the 1993 version of the Doink character's outfit, and they would look less of a clown than Lexis King coming to the ring with his chin bollocks beard.
Oh, it's so good.
And his movable throne. Like that, he makes an impact. And like I'm playing up to his character here. I'm just here to make an impact. Like it's stupid, but visually he makes this impact. Again, he gets thrown out immediately. You know, he's not going to break the 1 second Santino thing. Remember the Heath Slater spot where he couldn't get in the ring.
Everyone hits a finisher.
And everyone keeps attacking him on it. Like Lexis King just getting decked by wrestler after wrestler after wrestler. And him like shaking off the cobwebs. Finally, I'm having my moment. He turns around and it's like Brock Lesnar or something.
Oh.
Like there's loads of ways. Or Gunther. Like, who the hell are you? Like, just chops him in the chest. Like, all the sort of spirit just escapes his body. And then he's immediately thrown out.
I like the idea of him, being really braggadocious about it after the event. So I don't know who to suggest because I'm thinking like Cody Punk, Drew, Brock, all those people.
Yeah.
I want them to be sort of near the end, near the final four for obvious reasons.
You're saying he should be number 30?
No, what I'm saying is he should be a late entrant, and earlier on in the match, a former Kofi Kingston, a former world champion, gets eliminated.
Okay.
And he says, well, I outlasted a former world champion. It was like, you weren't even in the ring when he was in there and got eliminated.
Oh, God. Him doing his... I mean,
luckily got 23 or something.
We get one later on in the show here, but like him doing his usual thing of just basically like being skeevier on the women. Hey, do you see me in the Rumble on Saturday? And the women just going, yeah.
Him watching the Rumble. My work here is done. You didn't do anything.
Didn't I? Well, that's booked.
Nikita Lyons is another name that it feels obvious that they could, not as a move to the main roster immediately, but as a sneak peek for something to come in the future.
You say that
it's weird that they've done they've gone, oh, yeah, you lost to Blair Davenport, there you go.
That's it, right? You say about like not necessarily going to the main roster, I would agree with that. I don't think she's necessarily ready, whatever that means in 2024. But her comeback story was the story. They've not really told one since she came back. Like, I'm going to... Like, they had that big build-up. Then they shot her in the crowd where she did 18 poses, like Dana Brooks' old entrance, just to decide which one was going to get over. And then she came back to avenge this horrendous attack. Like, Blair Davenport's car parks attacks that were, of course, actually perpetrated by Indy Hartwell.
Yeah.
Were held as being responsible for, like, what, ACL tears?
Yeah.
These people lose, like, a year of their career. And she's like, I'm back, and I'm better than ever, and I've lost. They've sort of, like had her steer into a cul-de-sac here. So, I don't know, like the character is weird and you kind of can't take your eyes off Nikita Lyons. She might be main roster ready as a gimmick, if not as a wrestler. And is this not what those main event matches / house show loops with Natalya are for?
Exactly.
And I'm not burying either Natalya or the call-up wrestler there. That's what happens, right? People go on the road with they like get the reps, all that sort of thing that maybe you can't get working people of a similar experience level. I love this. I love this because NXT, I don't know if you've ever really effectively illustrated this before on this podcast, is sort of insane.
Yes.
And the magic of these it used to be where if you were able to put the blinkers on and pretend that Vince McMahon wasn't going to ruin the thing you loved, it was like, I can't wait for Bayley to join the rest of the horsewomen. I can't wait for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to do this exact same story, but on the main roster. Like, look at this vision of WWE that Triple H is crafting. It's definitely going to be perfect when they all get there. Now it's just like, on Tuesdays, I kind of watch wrestling's equivalent of the circus, and one of them is going to be allowed to escape and appear on Raw or SmackDown. Like, one of these is going to be on Netflix. Like, it's a whole different appeal, but I love it just as much.
One final suggestion for you before we get back to NXT. In the Rumble, you kind of have to have your wits about you.
Yeah.
You know, people say you got to have eyes in your back of your head, or to put it another way, you always make sure you pay attention, please. What about this? The 3 stages of scripts. Sommelier.
Comes out like number 4, eliminated.
Superhero.
Mid 15, 16,
Gang
eliminated.
member.
30 wins it. I'm in. What about, right, a new NXT wrestler, but who makes his debut at the Rumble,
Okay.
right? So you go 3, 2, 1, and it's actually a wrestler called Klaxon. And it's like, you know,
Yeah,
when
Gladiator.
You know, yeah. You know when you had Festus where like the bell would ring and he would go insane
yeah.
and like he would wrestle. Klaxon will only wrestle when the klaxon goes off. So like on NXT, like, oh, I'm Klaxon, and then the heels are like, oh, we bought a klaxon from the normal shop. Like the klaxon shop guy's like, well, looks like we're going out of business. We had a good run. Like klaxons were
Should
really
invested all of our money in one piece of stock.
Klaxons were really in the 90s. They made a comeback as a band in the mid-2000s.
Yes.
Everybody liked the Not Over Yet cover, but I think that's it for us in Klaxons. Yes? Hi, I'm Shawn Michaels, apparently. I got this new guy started, and I think I need all of your stock.
I'll take it all.
Klaxon Riker.
Oh, Klaxon Riker. Yeah, I'd love to see Von in the Rumble. I think he's busy with Heritage Cup stuff is my concern.
He comes out with a massive painting. It's like, what the hell's that, Von? And it's like, it's just like a painting of number 11. You told me I drew number 11 and I didn't have anything prepared.
Back to NXT, though, because some bad stuff's happened, Hamflett.
Oh.
We cut to a restaurant. We look inside. Plate smashed on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
The Riz is down. And OTM have got the waiter. And they pinned him up against the wall. And they're saying, we make the rules. Tell Tony D and Stacks it ain't over till OTM says so.
Yeah. It was, for something so serious, it looked sort of funny. Like the Riz and all the broken stuff everywhere. But yeah, well, it's another week where the family haven't lost the belt, isn't it? So this is not like a reverse Roman Reigns run for you, where like they should really be putting up the graphics like they do with Reigns. The family returns.
Yes.
And not just to like eat.
Elektra Lopez is seen arriving. Where the bloody hell's Lola Vice? Member of the crew, I have no idea. I'm looking for her. More on that in a bit. And then it was time for Joe Gacy versus Dijak. Obviously, off the back of Joe Gacy headbutting Dijak last week, but that's on commentary. But, I mean, the match didn't happen, basically. They brawled before the bell even rang. Dijak hasn't even taken his big jacket off. There's this chair spot. Eventually, Gacy twats Dijak with a chair. And then suddenly they're brawling around ringside, and you're like, what's that wall doing there? That's not been there for a while since they did this spot last.
When did the last build that wall?
And Dijak kicked him through the wall, and you thought, oh, that's that. But he raises back up with a smirk on his face, attacks Dijak. Dijak sells for a bit and then slams Gacy through the announce table, and all the referees and officials are there to separate them. And Gacy raises back up again and catches Dijak in a sleeper, and they have to be separated, basically.
I'm going to praise this. Gacy was quite believable. For all that he's not remotely believable, as a crazy guy when he's asked to, I don't know, like, eat the rubbish out the bins and whatever jobs he gets given in
his
NXT.
phone off the roof.
Yeah. As a bit of a crazy wrestler, I'm not making the comparison to Terry Funk. I'm just simply saying, mimicking that type of, like, a Terry Funk or a Bruiser Brody, what the frig's he going to do with that chair? Like, the way he was holding the chair, you would think, like, you know, on the video games where you can do what you can't in real life, which is just run at them and smash them in the face.
Yes.
And you're not allowed to do that anymore. And it's a good thing you're not. When he had the chair in his hand and was, he is charging at him. What's he going to do? Meanwhile, you've got Dijak, who, when he keeps his jacket on in a brawl, he looks like a kid in a bin bag costume at Halloween that's high on all the sweets they've eaten. Like, the movement and the shimmering of that cheap-ass jacket. Like, and I love him for it.
Oh, he's the best.
I love this Dijak character. It's so stupid. I love that he tweets half in
Strong Twitter game,
like,
yeah.
Pisses off half of X because he says he doesn't care about Kazuchika Okada. That's so funny to me. Like, I love that, like, Okada's punk card's being called by T-Bar. It's great. This worked for me. This was stupid. I loved it.
I thought it was amazing.
As you say, it's the wall, brother. When was the last time we saw it? Well, when it was getting broken.
It really was. We said this, we were talking about in the office earlier. It really was that thing in a video game when they were like, you need to find in this area where the hidden, wall part is, and it's like normal brick, different brick, normal brick. It was that one there. It was like normal NXT stage. Big cardboard wall with NXT written on it.
It's like the paper they swing through at the end of the Eliminator on Gladiators, isn't it? It's just there waiting for a body to touch it, and then
Right, following that, Ariana Grace is sat in the locker room rehearsing a speech. Honestly, I just think her character is amazing.
She feels, when we talk about Swerve Strickland in AEW, I'm so glad I'm getting away with these comparisons without Cedric.
Yes.
Swerve Strickland in AEW as Christ, put the title on him in 2024. The credibility of your product and the support of your hardcore base depends on you pushing this man. He's right there. In NXT, you start looking at the characters. It's all bollocks, right? So you start looking at, well, like, what bollocks is the best bollocks?
Yes.
And if R.I.P. Chase U really is no more, or we have to move on. We have to move on, Kelly, from the glory days of Chase U. You start looking for those characters, that can step in. And Ariana Grace feels like, like in the same way that, like, once upon a time, mad as it is to say, like, Tony D was merely like a side character, or Tiffany Stratton was merely a caricature. Not now.
Yeah.
Nobody would call Stacks a caricature in 2024.
Absolutely not.
Definitely not.
In a weird way, I do want ahead of another Tuesday Night War, whenever that comes. I'm never going to wish an accident on anyone, but if they could gimmick it so that Ariana Grace breaks her nose and bumps back into Cody with a full mask on.
Oh my God. Dashing Ariana Grace.
Do Spider-Man me.
Yes.
Anyway.
He is. Oh my God. You want some Cody Rhodes, The Rock? We've reported on them on the news today, right? How they embraced at Raw. What's going to happen the next time the Tuesday Night War? Because Cody, as we know, is the satellite GM of NXT, isn't he?
Of course, yeah.
In WWE law. So what's the power struggle between him and Ava? Like, how's Ava related to a wrestler again?
She hasn't got a surname. She's The Rock's daughter.
That's right. So, like, how's that going to go down when we know there's already this tension between the two? You've got to credit Shawn Michaels and Triple H for definitely coming up with all this stuff. Yeah. You really do.
So she's rehearsing this speech, some wisdom from her grandmother. Darling, if you have a vision, you will be where you want, see where you are headed, and that is delightful. Alex Lopez walks in like... Anyway.
Did you have a single note on this promo?
No.
Not a one.
Lopez, where is she? Lopez goes, right here. Not you. Lola Vice. And she storms off, and Ariana Grace goes, She's definitely left now. Some ladies have no social graces. She can still watch the show, Harry, on.
Yeah, very good.
Still get you next week.
Really, really like her. Big things ahead for her.
I was confused next, but thankfully my fears were allayed by Lexis King because he says, guys, don't freak out. The main event's come a little early. I was like, we're only half an hour into this show. He says, Trey Bearhill better be grateful for the spotlight I'm going to put on him. There's only one man worthy of centre stage, and you're looking right at him. And I thought, what a bell end. But in the best possible way.
Absolutely. Just a dreadful creep.
Okay, moving on to our newest feature, of course.
Hey, Dijak, take those stupid sunglasses off. We're inside.
Wagner Watch.
Come Tuesday.
Von's back at his old stomping grounds.
Oh, my God.
Why did you bring me here? He's been brought there by his manager, whose name actually escapes me.
Bloody hell. Robert Stone.
He says,
I can't do it.
why did you bring me here, Stone? He's like, Von, doesn't this bring back some goddamn memories? Of course it does.
It happened in my past.
This is
That is what a memory is, no?
This is my old stomping grounds, UCF, number 87. What does this have to do with the Heritage Cup?
This is definitely how people speak, Mr. Stone.
Robert Stone says, we're going to work on your speed, your stamina, your agility. And I got you the best coaches. And I was literally so buzzing when the camera pans.
Oh my God.
It's Stone's kids, and even Vaughn goes, the Bash Brothers. Yes!
Give them
the best!
Give them the belts. The Bash Brothers.
And they go, are you ready, Vaughn? He's like, yeah, I'm ready. And they go, but are you ready? He goes, yeah. I was like,
Tell you what, right? NXT, unlike this podcast, NXT really knows its way around a swear word, doesn't it? Like,
there was 2 swears on this show, and they were pitched perfectly.
like it's been core to Chase U becoming this cult hit. And for just Von to drop an overexcited F-bomb in front of 2 kids.
And Robert Stone knocked him.
He was like, yeah,
let's go.
I wanted the kids to do it as well.
Yeah.
And then the mom back at home, like, just, off, mom. Sorry, my bad.
I want to do my own way. Blah, 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 blah.
Wagner for Daisy, totally crazy. Don't ask questions, just keep talking.
So Von's getting put through his paces. Bit of a hefty workout. This he's doing like running bits, and he touches and going and runs back, and he's doing sit-ups, and the Bash Brothers are stood on his toes whilst they're asking him about the rules of the Heritage Cup, about 6 rounds, 2 out of 3 falls. He's doing a bit where he's lifting one of the Bash Brothers.
I like that reveal. It's a kid.
And then at one point, Robert Stone's like, he throws a football to Von, and then he's like, Von in the pocket. Look out, here comes Oru Mensah. And he hoists the football and just bounces it off Robert Stone's head. Huge pap in the Wilbourn household.
Absolutely massive.
So then they reveal one of those tackling dummies that they use.
Oh, mind.
No expense has been spent because they've got a picture of Noam Dar's face sort of stuck on it. And they're like, come on, Von, tackle it. And the first one, to be fair, I watched that and went, well, that'll do it.
Yeah, he drills it.
And he goes, pathetic. And then he looks at it and he's like, ooh. And it's like, he gets like Noam's voice in his head. He's like, you. Right.
It went just like that.
And
I know you didn't watch.
Obliterates it. And then they're like, you ready? Hands in. And he goes, Noam.
I mean, if that review
Netflix, I can see why you spent your money.
Not like that review didn't sum it up, but this was a great bit of business, isn't it?
This was worth the weeks off we had.
That's it, right? I was getting really worried about Von Wagner after he threatened to beat up school children and then wasn't seen again. I wondered if he just didn't realise that skit wasn't a shoot, and he actually went and did it, and that was why he was being kept off telly. This return's been perfect. I have...
really impressive running up those stairs as well.
Yeah, like...
I'd be gassed after like 4. I get tired walking up to this studio.
Yeah, rest is sort of amazing. It's worth remembering that, isn't it? The Heritage Cup is this device that makes good matches bad. but good matches aren't really on Von Wagner's CV. So we're starting...
What are we saying about the Heritage Cup?
Hey. You all right? I think we might be. Yeah. I think Von Wagner's got it over.
Right, next time for the certified Lex offender to get in action with Trey Bearhill. Bearhill's looking for revenge, of course, for everything that happened with the breakout tournament, etc. I like the way he yells as part of his offense.
Less, did you notice less dog-like this week? Less animalistic.
Because they've got like dog. Obafemi's got like a shout that goes whenever he cuts a promo now. And now you've got this. Yeah, he beats the crap out of Lexis King earlier on, but he sort of gets carried away, and that's how that gets away with it. He charges in, avalanche in the corner, picks King up for a body slam, and then goes for a leaping elbow, but Lexis King moves, nails him with some stomps, says Trey doesn't belong in the ring with him. But Trey takes back over, yells at King to get back up, grabs him for a choke slam, but King escapes. Super kicks, a couple of them, big forearm to the back of the head, and he hits the coronation and gets the win.
Yeah. Look, I know sometimes seeing the basics can be a little bit drab, but NXT, as it always has, follows a robust rankings system, and you've got to give Lexis King his wins now to make the Okada match feel credible. Quite right. See the vision. Right.
Trick walks into the locker room to ask Mello where he's been. Mello says he's been scouting the LWO ahead of their match with them in the semi-final next week. But he tells Trick, hey, you keep your eyes on the prize. Don't be fighting Ilya's battles. Trick's like, yeah, but I want him at 100%. And Mello says, mate, he's been playing you like 2K since October, when, of course, he attacked you.
Huh?
And he basically lays out exactly how he feels about Trick. He sees you as a threat. He wants to take you out. He doesn't want you winning the world title. And Trick basically says, yeah, I've been thinking about all that. But they seem to come to an understanding and slap hands here. And Trick says, I've got to deal with it on my own for the match later as well.
Right, this was full of all the exposition you laid on in your description of this scene. But was that by design? Was this the week that Trick, I love Trick Williams, was this the week that he stopped, they addressed the one element of the story that maybe isn't quite tight enough, which is, well, Trick Williams, more like Thick Williams, because you can see what's happening here. Was he on to him as of this week? And could they be subverted?
He is. Kyle O'Reilly in the Von Wagner feud. Yeah, I knew you were going to turn on me.
They've done that before, haven't they? Like, I've seen this coming for weeks, Von. Like, you took the air out of my tires when we went for a bike ride. Like, it's just, like, I love the whole setup of Vengeance Day being Trick's got to work twice, because if they just follow that to the letter and he's just this baby face that's shown great guts to try and win the Dusty Cup and then goes in hurt to fight Ilya Dragunov of all people and comes up short, but like, what a battle, what a night. And then Mello just decks him after the bell when he's at his weakest. Like that, if that plays out exactly like that, fine. That's old-fashioned, that's good. You're going to get to stand and deliver with a hot match. Is there more to this?
Potentially.
Has Trick figured it out? And is Mello going to strike and Trick give him the sort of and no, because he was in front of it? And Mello thought he had it all covered and under control, and Trick's got that agency already, and it just takes off in a different direction. Because I quite like that.
Accidentally costs Ilya the title.
Well, possibly,
Imagine.
yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so, but oh my God.
This was the week. I'm so glad. I will talk to Sid about this as well. Don't be snitch tagging me or anything like that. But this was the week.
Where's this going?
Where I decided, and you know my affinity with my best friend Maxwell Jacob Friedman, I decided this week that this betrayal is better than MJF and Adam Cole.
Excuse me?
That's what I think.
Are you daring, with our platform that we are privileged to have, to suggest that a single storyline in wrestling is better than the devil? How are you being so controversial and yet so brave at the same time?
Moving on, it's now time for Supernova Sessions. There's Noam Dar or Amenta. And if you're thinking, Lash Legend is Shara Jackson there, in the words of Noam Dar, no, they're backstage. They're taking care of.
Right, no, shut up. Yesterday, you said, I can't remember if it was on microphone or not. You were like, well, I hope Noam Dar says no. He's asked, like, because he's asking the questions, so we need somebody to ask him questions, otherwise the bit's f***ed. And it's like, no. Adam Wilbourn's like water in a flood, it finds a way.
Did he say no? I didn't actually catch him if he ever actually said no.
We're gonna do it anyway.
So
I know what you're all thinking. Chicago Jackson last Monday. Nobody was thinking that. She'd wrestle.
They take the piss out of Von Wagner, saying, "Oh, he doesn't just train with the kids. He goes to the same school. They share crayons. He's thick."
Got him.
Noam says Von's never going to beat him. He'll never touch the Heritage Cup. And then he introduces his guests on the Super Nova sessions. It's Lola Vice.
No.
He's buzzing about having her
Yes.
on, by the way, because he says she was in a match last week she didn't need to be in just to screw over her mate. Brings her out.
Yeah.
She comes down. She got the contract, of course. And he says, "I loved seeing Elektra Lopez's reaction when you eliminated her. It was fantastic. Was it planned?" Lola says, "Look, there was always an expiration date the moment we teamed up. Lopez saw a rising star and latched onto me. She's a leech. I was sick of carrying her dead weight." We've been together about 6 weeks.
It's a bit out of nowhere, this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are we just unaware of like a 6-year run they had on the Indies together or something?
Yeah. Noam says, "Do you have any regrets?" And she says, "No, I regret nothing."
Wait a minute. Where's she from?
I've got confused.
Lola Vice.
I don't regret all the fans watching my every move, all the women backstage are being jealous, anything like that. But here comes your Elektra Lopez. Elektra says, "I don't question why you did it. I question who the hell you are. You're always backstage on social media begging for nice comments and crying about likes and saying, 'Oh, I sacrificed everything to get here.' Bitch," she says, "I sacrificed everything to be here." There's a nice nod to Santos Escobar. She says, "I did all that. I busted my ass to get here, and you did it by shaking your ass on Instagram. 1 minute you're auditioning for a Lifetime movie, and next you're a wannabe MMA fighter shaking your ass in lingerie. You're a phony. Next week, one-on-one, me and you." And Lola's like, "You know what you're getting into?" And Lopez says, "Yep, and I don't actually want to wait till next week. I want to burn Vice City," nice, "to the ground right now." She tackles her over these couches. Officials have to come and break them up, and they're all going, "Puta, puta." I thought this was great from Elektra Lopez.
A really strong brawl, and good for them too, because I thought this material was pretty weak. Would they, ask yourself if they would give this sort of scripting and this reason to fight to men? And I think the answer would be no.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a little bit dated. And it's a bit rich of a character that lives in the NXT world to be criticising somebody for having multiple gimmicks.
Yeah.
You have to tread really carefully there, because I think if you pick at that, pretty much the whole thing falls apart, doesn't it?
Wasn't Elektra sort of employed by the family for a bit as well?
Yeah, this is it.
She
Everyone's
did a
had,
good job, if I remember.
everyone's had 20 jobs.
Yeah.
That's the norm in NXT. The brawl, however, tremendous, as it was last week when the fight broke out of nowhere during the Battle Royal. I believe these two when they're fighting, so that is it. That is enough. But there was a bit of a vintage 2.0 being ran by the old pervs to the build to this. But I
Yeah.
think the match will work out well. I like Lola Vice and Elektra Lopez as well. I think it helps that both women, like in very different ways, have sort of earned credibility. One's taken the fast track to it. One, as you say, has had to put in the work. This, for all that, like, their feud doesn't feel as real as they're making it, you kind of see them on their own separate journeys. So I quite like that.
We get to see a tweet in response to OTM's actions earlier from Tony D'Angelo. It's a video. It's Tony D, Stacks, and The Riz, who's like, "Oh, bloody heck." The tweet says, like, "You made a big mistake, OTM." And Tony D says, "Oh, TM, listen up and listen good. You want to come in my restaurant and tear the place up? You made a big mistake." And Stack says, "You guys better have eyes in the back of your freaking heads."
Terrible voice.
And Tony says, "Oh, Bronco, Lucian Scripps." And they all go, "Jada, things are about to get real interesting for you. We'll see you soon."
Heated stuff. Heated. So you must feel really lucky that you're going to be getting to hear the C-Stacks.
Oh, absolutely.
You probably got loads of questions from, right? For how, what's next?
I cannot wait. You know, obviously, later on, they set up a match. It's going to go down at keep on saying bloody faction from Monday Night Raw that we swear when we say their name, so I'm not going to do it. Vengeance Day.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, I'm really excited. And I think if I just really concentrate, I can hit. Oh, sorry. 1 second. This is really unprofessional. Oh, God, you know we're doing the stream for the Royal Rumble on Saturday?
Yeah, that you can join us for at midnight UK time, an hour before the actual show time of the Rumble itself.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Phil
Not
needs,
to be confused with the live show we're doing in Philadelphia.
No.
Tickets available at whatculture.com/tickets.
Phil needs help switching the cameras on in advance. He just
I
wants them to
don't-
warm up. I know it's only Wednesday, but
No, that's kind of like Phil can do pretty much everything at What Culture, but I would say that's like rudimentary skill that even so, like there's loads of people working downstairs. Like Phil alone can definitely do this. But
yeah, I know, but he said I really need. I think it's just something quite far away because of my big long arms.
Right.
Maybe he just wants me to reach for it. He does have a ladder, but
And the
this is
Von Cob's,
actually
like, pulling
up
up.
and around the corner. So
Stacks keeps asking after you.
I know, but I can't really don't want to leave someone in the lurch. Huh? He has,
yeah.
but you know what he's done? He's dropped it behind the
sofa.
the thing that he's reaching. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and quickly give him a hand. And you know what?
Right.
Just to clean this visual up a little bit, I'm gonna shut my laptop and move the soundboard a little bit closer to you, just in case you feel in the needs while selling our Royal Rumble stream.
Yeah.
I'll be probably like 5 minutes at an absolute maximum.
Okay.
But you crack on doing that. I'm annoyed about Phil doing this, but needs must. I'll be back in a second. Sorry, guys.
He's kind of really put me on the spot there. I felt like that bit in Wayne's World where Garth's just got to stare and be like, oh, I'm missing Wayne Campbell here. I will tell you, I suppose, a little bit about the Royal Rumble stream, midnight UK time. I don't know what that time that is on the various time zones in America, but it's an hour before the Rumble starts. We'll give you all the buzz, all the hype. It's only a 4-match card, so there's a lot to be excited about. God, this arm problem. Sidgwick seems to be getting it as well. But yeah, loads of like NXT stars potentially coming in. That's all right.
How's it going? What else? Willie, what else? Goddamn Sidge.
Did you not pass him going downstairs to see Phil there?
Must have missed him there.
Sidge is not well today.
Get well soon, Sidgey.
Yeah, he'll appreciate that.
Sure
It's
he
a book,
will.
by the way. You read it?
I have not read it yet, but
Take a copy for the
because
thing.
I assume what with me being in the States and him being in the United Kingdom, can I get that book over there?
Well, Stacks, you've raised a good point there. It's not about where you're travelling to or where you're travelling from. Where do you live?
I live in the wild.
You are not going to believe this.
What?
You are able to pick up a copy of that book. But, now I know you, Stacks. I've heard a lot of your jokes. I've seen a lot of your stand-up routines.
Indeed.
So I know you like passionate, insightful words.
I
'cause
do,
that's what I
but it's a
consider your
specific number though.
Well, no, this is the problem. Because, this is a 1 in a million shot. It's got 120,000.
Oh my God.
What?
That's exactly the number I've got. You were reading my goddamn brain. Huh?
No way. Well, you can pick it up off Amazon. It's a great read. It charts the rise of All Elite Wrestling. Remember when All Elite Wrestling was on the rise?
Nope.
No, somebody else. Just buy the book. It was a different and better time.
I could read it maybe because the goddamn Von Cob's had a nightmare with all this weather recently and all the rain. And the Rainmaker was I thought was coming to goddamn NXT.
Yeah.
And I thought, what the hell's the deal with rain?
I forgot to check on Google, and I'm just not as smart as Sidge. Rain is a type of weather that forms as part of the water cycle, as I track back through my rudimentary school science,
Indeed.
where water from the Earth's natural resources of water, such as the ocean, da rivers, da lakes, da streams, go up into the clouds, and then some other weather happens, and then rain falls. We're getting a lot more rain these days, thanks to the melting of the polar ice caps due to climate change. Stacks, don't take offence at this. You strike me as a guy that might deny that, but it's absolutely real, and it's gradually killing us all.
Well, I always watch my carbon footprint flying back and forth from the UK to the US twice a week. I thought, well, goddamn it, if Taylor Swift's doing that crap, then I can get away with it. Anyway, you Brits,
Taylor catching a stray there, Stacks.
you Brits, you're always saying it is raining cats and dogs.
That non-stop, we always say that, yeah.
I'm still out here, can't get myself no pussies or bitches. I can't get it, man. 3 jokes, 3 questions for you.
Good, more for the kids, I see.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Kitties will like this one.
Right, okay.
Little Bash brother's gonna love this.
Okay.
In which country do sheep fall from the sky? Huh? Picture that.
Sheep. Right.
Kids,
Nicholas.
they're fine when they land. Don't worry about them.
Nicholas.
I'll be a bouncing.
Thank you, right. Sheep and countries. So, so bar is obviously where you're going to go. Wool. Bahrain?
Rain. You've got it.
Bahrain.
In which country does sheep fall from the sky?
If I get the perfect hat trick without even an assist, well, I mean, for one, he's going to be absolutely raging. But like, oh.
Without an assist. I guess I love myself.
Hamflett, question joke number 2.
Well, there goes my help on this one. Any thoughts on this one? I've got one, Hamflett.
Oh, sorry. That
Hamflett, what do you call Yogi in the rain?
Nicholas, I'm thinking Bear Raid.
sounds good to me.
It's like a sequel of sorts. Hang on, right. Yogi, he's not said bear. Sorry, can you repeat this?
What do you call Yogi in the rain?
Right.
Rain, water, bear.
Yeah. Oh, he's bear sucking. Is there anything in Boo Boo?
Got a boo-boo on your elbow.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega.
You ever met Kenny Omega, Stacks?
No.
Would you like to wrestle him?
If he wants to come over to NXT, he's more than goddamn welcome. Learn how to goddamn work.
Get well soon, Kenny.
Yeah, get well soon.
I'm lost. I'm thinking we're going to have to go with Bear Rain and just hope that this is a runner. Because I can't get anywhere else.
It's a good little theme, that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to be wrong, but
Yeah.
go with that anyway.
We'll go with Bear Rain.
It's really good, but it's not right. What do you call Yogi in the rain? A drizzly bear, huh? Another one for the kids.
It really is.
All the jokes are, in fact, all jokes today are for the kids. Final joke, final question for you, Hamflett.
I play these every week, you realise, to pop my wife so that like we can still laugh together after being married so long. Raise the bar, Stacks.
Hey, Adele. Hello. You like that?
He's back. Stacks is back.
Final question, final joke for you, Hamflett. Why is sex like a thunderstorm, huh?
Oh, God, right. Sex like a thunderstorm.
It's going to be one of them ways.
Yeah.
There's going to be 3 bits of this.
As usual, Stacks is both somebody that owns his own failings in the bedroom and also a raging misogynist. Like, and it's funny how those two things collide. So, like, lightning quick, because it's over too fast. Wet. Fast. The woman is under a cloud, having been with him. Nothing we could say about your sexual prowess or sexism could compete with this punchline, Stack, so I don't know. Oh.
I think it's going to be wet in there.
Yeah, what's the setup? What weather haven't you mentioned?
Why is sex like a thunderstorm?
It's something about, what about like count of 10 and it's all over or something like that, because it's like 10 seconds between thunder and lightning, isn't there? Yeah. 10 seconds, boom, and it's over.
Even before you see it, or something like that.
Something about that you're really quick and unsatisfying.
On the right lines.
I don't know.
Not quite there.
I don't understand.
Why is sex like a thunderstorm? You get wet. You never know how long it's going to last. And you never know how many inches you're going to get. See you later, guys.
I couldn't help noticing. I don't know if the microphones picked this up, but I couldn't help. Stacks really enjoyed that one as he left the room there. Bye, Stacks.
Oh, bloody hell.
And hello, Wilbourn.
What I missed?
Well, Stacks, I assume, unless you passed him on the corridor then.
No, I didn't see him. Sorry, it turns out I didn't need my help.
Oh, really?
Phil was absolutely fine, yeah.
Oh, that's right, because he's not in the office today, is he?
No, he's
I should
not
have flagged that up before.
I went down. I was looking everywhere for him.
Turns
out he's at home.
He's working for... So, hang on. He was asking you to plug a wire in a camera in his house.
Yeah.
How does he normally get that camera working?
Salty.
I'm suspicious of Phil at this point.
Yeah.
I want to...
What you've done that well. That's a good coverage. He's a good couple of miles away, Phil.
Yeah, well, I was looking. I didn't go to his house. I was just looking downstairs for him, and I said, "Well, bloody hell are you?" He said, "Oh, I've forgotten. I'm at home." I thought, God, idiot.
Sent it over Slack, did he? From his house?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Got it. Stacks was there anyway.
Oh, is he all right?
He's okay. He was talking about weather. Presumably he's got his... Maybe, do you think they've encored? You know how, like, those flights between the Republic of Ireland and the UK have been diverted via France because of all the storms there? That's pretty funny, isn't it? Like, maybe that's happened to Stacks and that's why he's got weather on the brain.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a weather-themed sexy name with the missus. She calls me Lightning, because I always come first. It's Chase U time. Right, it's going to go take a bit of a turn, this.
Okay.
So we've got to go to Chase U.
Oh.
Potentially one of the final times. Everything's getting repossessed. Riley Osborne's desk gets lifted away from him. They take the chairs and everything. He apologizes to Mr. Chase, but he says, "I know my time has been short, but I've loved every second of it." And Chase is like, "No, I'm sorry. It's my fault." And Duke Hudson's very dismissive of all this. He says, "Look, it's just material stuff. It could all be replaced. What are you moaning about?" And then someone takes his MVP trophy, and he's like, "No."
Good bit.
He says, "Without the trophy, without Chase U, I'm going to spiral quick." Chase is like, "Everything I've worked for so hard, it's all gone. I've got nothing left," he says. Someone tries to take his podium. He's like, "Get your hands off my podium." And Duke's like, "Let it go." That gets taken out, and there's literally like a couple of posters, and that's it. That's all that's left. Chase is just disheveled and down in the dumps. He says, "Look, we had a good run, but next week we have to officially say goodbye." And they just glance over at this empty room now. And Chase says, "Class dismissed." Turns out the lights.
Whew. I don't want to say leave the memories alone, but I'm becoming worried that I might have to.
If someone could edit together the best bits of Chase U into sort of half an hour video to my sacrifice.
Into one of those 3 hour long, like when they do a bloodline catch.
Yeah, oh God.
Yeah. Tugging on the heartstrings.
Is it all over for Chase U?
I don't know, because where do you go from here? If whatever JC James' master plan is, a little bit more on that later, but not a lot. If whatever her master plan is does work, how does the new Chase U... Wait a second. I know we've been saying Chase U. Were we missing what was in front of us the whole time? Chase U.0, right? If Chase U.0...
Yes.
forms, is it going to be like a college of the future? I don't know why I went a bit stacksy there. Like, where they've got, instead of like the podium... I'm terrified of AI replacing all of us one day, but like a nice mix of humanity and technology all together. So you've got Andre Chase delivering the lectures, but then you've also got like the use of technology. He doesn't need a podium because he's got like a nice video wall stand that he can have his lecture notes appearing on in front of him. It's all high tech, like some of the equipment being taken away. They don't need that anymore. Desks. Who needs desks, old man? It's just chairs for people to sit on, like comfy chairs for you to hold your iPad and do your learning on there. Like, as if they've just got all those Tesco's computers for schools vouchers. Dating myself. I don't know what the JSU looks like to replace all of this, replace you. But I feel like we're going to get a return and it's going to be futuristic and, all modernized.
What 9 days we've got coming up.
Go on.
So we've got the Rumble on Saturday, the fallout from the Rumble on Raw. You got the go-home show for Vengeance Day on Wednesday.
Yep.
Fallout on the SmackDown side of things from the Rumble. And then on the Sunday, and then another day, to make it 9, you've got Vengeance Day.
And then, of course...
And what's going to happen? Oh, man.
And then the all-important, we've talked about this for years, we've got the all-important Raw after Vengeance Day. So much
the Raw after the Royal Rumble.
It's where it all kind of happens.
Right.
CM Punk walking out. I think we all saw what happened on Vengeance Day last night. Did we, Phil?
Right, it's time for us all to... Pay attention, please. Because Scripps is in action against Dragon Lee.
Scripps' entrance. Fireball come down. Scripps. It's good.
Obafemi's watching on the platform.
I'm amazed that's still standing with it having no supporting wall that's definitely always there.
There's a lot of high-flying stuff, as you would expect from these two. Early on, Screeps dodges some moves, get caught with a front drop kick from Dragon Lee, who hits a wild somersault dive onto him. There's also a running, flipping clothesline. Basically, it was a fun match, but it was overshadowed by what happened mid-match, because obviously OTM were out there with Screeps. And here comes the D'Angelo family to get some revenge. They brawl around ringside, and the Riz does a wicked tope onto Jada Parker. All this distracts everyone, then allows Dragon Lee to hit Operation Dragon for the pin. And afterwards, Obafemi says, I'll see you at Vengeance Day for a title match, basically. But yeah, I love the blood feud we've got going on now.
How did you feel personally about Obafemi being sideways inserted into family business as well? You must have, like, what a moment. It's, for me, like, this week was Cody and Punk finally sharing the screen. For you, it was the Oba family, as we'll now call them. Like a supergroup. AEW should try it. Like a supergroup forming of baby faces that you love happening in front of your very eyes. Smart this, because you coined the right phrase during your review, mid-match. That's what Dragon Lee and Scripts was, but then they kind of like said, don't look at that anymore, look at all this other stuff happening. So yeah, a good use of the television time. Economical.
The Riz had a first on-screen match last week in the Battle Royal, and her tope is awesome.
Yeah, I quite like the Riz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're getting a 6-person match, obviously, at the Pape now.
And you like that because?
No titles on the line.
There you go.
Was just checking the graphic. Okay, we're fine. Speaking of supergroups, our boys Idris and Malik are backstage, and they're gutted. Obviously, they're at the Dusty Cup at the first stage.
Yeah.
And Idris has had this awesome gear made, which I know you'll appreciate. And he's like, why have I even bothered with that?
Really nice touch, that.
Yeah.
Waste of bloody money.
They're very dejected. Then comes a bit of positivity from Brinley Reese.
Yeah. Name still makes me think of hot dog water.
She says, you only lose if you don't learn and dig up the positives in each match. I wrote in my wellness journal today, I worked out tons. I'm ready for whatever's next. And he's just like, look, not right now. We can't catch a break. We don't need journals or positives. We need luck. Brinley's like, not having any of that. Right, 5 things you liked about the match and 5 things you didn't. And she chops Idris in the chest and she sort of cartwheels out a shot. And then they go, Malik's like, at least we'll try anything. I'm in.
I am all the way in on Bryn. This was great. I've not quite been able to decide where I'm landing on this character over the last few weeks, but this was the week where it all made sense to me. This is not like a guide to life in NXT, because I don't want many of these characters to be relatable. But this character was extremely relatable. We've all worked, we've all had jobs in like those type of really dumb companies that hire like external trainers or bring in people that like do training as a job and thus can't really apply their one-size-fits-all training method to your specific problem. And Ophi and Blade have got a very specific problem.
Yes.
They've lost a wrestling match and like they're feeling pretty low and they're questioning their place in the pecking order and all that sort of stuff. I thought I could have the ambition to buy new gear and advance in the Dusty Cup, and everything's fallen away. And then Shawn Michaels has paid a third-party corporate trainer in the form of this character that has just existed on his show to come in.
Yeah.
That chop she delivered, followed by the Gable Stevenson type backflip out shot, like Dwight Schrute in the office, spin move, and she's gone. Piss myself. Like, absolutely brilliant. 5 good things and 5 bad things. Like, I want to see the lists.
Yeah.
Like,
and
where's the lists, Pete? Like, show me the lists.
And you know what you call it when she hands out these pieces of advice or certain bits of positivity? Reese's Pieces.
Oh, my God. This week's Reese's Pieces. Because I'm nutty. Just complete it again. Tick, tick, mother tick.
Right. The fun keeps coming because
the NXT tag.
I know you think it's Sidge. We're nowhere near the main event yet. Bird person's backstage watching
around.
watching video of some sort.
Yeah.
And Tatum Paxley slides in, scares her, and she's like, oh my God, last week was a real career highlight for me, Lyra. And Lyra's like, yeah, about that. You're really special to me, but it was a one-time thing. I need to focus on my title match, Roxanne Perez, and I can't respond to the hundreds of texts, DMs, and emails that you've been sending me. And Tatum says, oh, I get it. So it's all about Roxy. Okay. And Lyra says, I'm glad we're on the same page, and she leaves. Tatum Paxley subtly implies they might not be on the same page here.
This is just like, I love... Wrestling thinks it can do what it bloody well likes.
I've got a venom. We're on the same page.
What's it called? Have I invented this term? Or is it's like a thing that like young people have identified as like quite a problem in the building of relations? Is it called love bombing?
Oh, I
where
don't know.
people can be so forthright, hundreds of texts, as was illustrated here, that like the person like dishing out their love believes, this is great, this is what somebody wants, where the person on the other end of it is like, this is scary, legitimately, I don't want to be on the receiving end of this, I didn't sign up for this, we went on one date or whatever, or you helped me out once. And like this phenomenon that like people are kind of like navigating the way through. Shawn Michaels has seen and thought, I can do something with that. And the character I'm going to choose is the half human, half bird. I love the mindset, the arrogance of the man, the arrogance of the creative team. I think, yeah, we've definitely got something here. Like, just the half human, half bird. NXT Women's Champion, no less, Lyra Valkyria, comes out of this really credible series with Becky Lynch where she's like I watched you from afar, I wanted to be like you, all that sort of stuff. So they've taken basically all the silliness out of that character. And then just as she's gotten serious, they're like, bang, like insane stalker cartoon character.
Yeah.
Like dancing around your
Dennis the Menace.
From week one, as we've said, you're like, well, I wouldn't trust her. And only now is like, the 100 messages that you sent the last hour were really great, but... I
want the full worst people on the internet, so I want to see the string of messages of like, hey, Lyra, I just want to say massive thanks for tagging me last night. It was a career highlight. Lyra, just checking, are you around? I'd love to watch our match back. Bitch.
Lol, cry laugh emoji. Just kidding.
Sorry, did you just call me? Or I got missed call. I wasn't sure if that was from you or...
And that's what we need. We need the screenshots. Lyra posts the screenshots of the 100 texts. How many different bird emojis is there?
This is all about you, lol.
Spinning parrot face.
Blair Davenport versus Carmen Petrovic was next. Another case of just giving someone quite a straightforward victory, to be perfectly honest.
I've got a move. I've got a sword. We're a show full of mystery stuff.
The best in it. Blair kicks Carmen in the corner, hits that double stomp off the second rope, hits a backbreaker for a 2 count. Carmen got a 2 count off the back of a spin kick, but in the end, she charges in at Blair. Blair moves, front drop kick, Michinoku driver, and the knockout blow, I believe it's called, that knee of hers, to give Blair Davenport a W.
Aye, nothing going on here, really, is there?
Ridge Bloody Holland's backstage with Kelly, and he asks him about Gallus kicking the crap out of him and him having no mates last week, and, you know, using the numbers game. And Kelly's like, why haven't you asked for help? And he's like, I'm not going to prove Joe right. You know, I left the Brawling Brutes. I wanted to stand on my own. I'll take them all because I'm hardcore.
Me and Ely used to play rugby together. Rugby sevens. He's... This doesn't end well, does it? Because he's blatantly going to call American Gallus. And we're going to have, like, you're bringing together 3 Galluses in one match. British Gallus, an American Gallus, Gallus, stay away from me.
Get off my TV.
We're getting the match, whether we want it or not.
Then it was time for Trick Williams versus Josh Briggs with Ilya Dragunov on commentary. I like the fact he kept G-ing Trick Williams up. But come on, get up, Trick.
He thinks that people love pain as much as he does.
I bet he just thought, Booker's not calling my match next weekend, is he? Because he's just like the only person who's like, yeah, that's right. He's doing his entrance. Like, do you do that for mine, Booker? Just, okay. I feel it might be slightly biased. But yeah, this Josh Briggs character's broken out on his own. Bit of a hoss fight, this. They were kicking the crap out of each other. Trick was selling a lot here. Dragunov's urging Williams to his feet towards the end. And then Josh Briggs booted him over the announce desk. Williams caught Briggs as a result of that. Dragunov goes to get in the ring to get involved, but here comes Carmelo Hayes to get him off the apron. But it looks like Briggs is going to take advantage of this distraction to get the victory. But Trick Williams catches him with a victory roll, gets the 1-2-3, turns around to celebrate and gets hit with a massive lariat by Josh Briggs, who the audience kind of turn on as a result of that. And Trick Williams is furious with Mello for getting involved, saying, I wanted to do this by myself. But I thought Mello was kind of justified here to a certain extent, which is the best bit of this sort of heel shtick.
I wouldn't normally love that. Not that a victory roll is a roll up in the traditional sense, grab the tights, go and celebrate on the floor. I won, I'm the hero.
When Drew beat Randy with it. Yeah. Well, that's not a proper win.
A backslide? No. You got to beat with your finisher, mate. Everybody knows that.
That thread the other day. What's Gunther's finish? He hits like 4 different moves. Jesus Christ.
That's why he's rubbish. No, I wouldn't normally be in favour of that, but I didn't think this was a bad night for Briggs overall because it is a bit of a left turn. I appreciate like going out on your own after they went their separate ways and
we live.
But to like this heel turn feels a little bit all like out of nowhere, or does it? Because in the post match, hitting a lariat or a clothesline from hell, having taken the advice of JBL to get aggressive and believe in yourself last week, I think that's quite neat. That's quite nice. I don't wish for a really boring 20-year career like JBL's was, so don't take too much advice and become dreadful. But that's fine. Like, take that, go and be your own man, as JBL has told you to be. And in the meantime, again, to my point earlier on, this felt like another way for them to have Trick Williams be wise to it. Like, Shawn Michaels, as we know, loves to just do his own career. And when Triple H attacked him, when like Shawn Michaels was mysteriously attacked, and it was like the OG Indy Hartwell, everybody in the arena, so much so that you could all hear them go, "It's Triple H." Like 3 weeks passed and Triple H was like, "I'm going to get to the bottom of this." And it was like, well, you turned on him 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
It's you. Like, I know I pedigreed him, but I would never do that. It was you. Like, and then Shawn's like, I've got the camera footage, and in 2002 technology, I've turned the camera around this way and like made it focus
Zoom
up.
and enhance.
I paid for the money.
Yeah.
It was you, Triple H. And we're like, what?
Oh my God.
Yeah. I've kind of come round to it being mellow, right? I wanted it to be Josh, or I wanted it to be...
There's a bit of me that still thinks,
Yeah,
since that someone suggested to us that it could be... Imagine if he says next week, you know that lariat he hit me with after the match?
Yeah.
Weird similarities to
I've
how...
felt that before. Oh, my God. Well, anyway, I kind of have now come around to it just being the obvious answer. And having Trick be Shawn Michaels in this and go, it was you. And not be fooled, but in fact see the attack coming and do something about it isn't the worst thing for that babyface thing, especially if they're going to make him champion eventually. Which
I like the bit where Mello was yelling at Trick, though, hyping him up. Ilya's coming for you. That's why I had to get involved. Trick's still not happy, and Mello's like, he's doing what he did to Corbin. Think about this. Wake up!
Good that. Like, it's Mello trying to like do a bit of reverse psychology on him here, but getting the excuse to sort of neg him at the same time. It's pretty smart.
Sort of wrestling's version of the Traitors, really.
Well, let's not get silly. Like, I love NXT as much as you do, but I don't love NXT as much as the Traitors.
I've not told you about my new game. I keep meaning to do this. I meant to do this on the SmackDown preview last week, and considering what day it is today...
It's Wednesday. It's Traitors Day. Only 3 episodes left.
UK Traitors is goated.
I love the BB. Motherfucking see.
So my new game is one you can play at home with friends, family, other halves. Start a conversation acting like they're one of the traitors.
Right, okay.
So the other day, I just went, can we have a bit of a chat, Anne-Louise? She went, yeah, is everything all right? I said, I think you've been acting a little bit suspiciously, to be honest. Ever since last Monday, you've been doing sort of things that you weren't doing when we first met. And I just think it's really out of character. And I think, when we get to the round table, I'm maybe going to put out there that I think you might have been seduced and recruited by the traitors. Just start a conversation like that. Don't tell, no warning. Just start that conversation.
Just add I've been thinking about me writing your name down at the dinner table.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just specifically traitors as a semantic field.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean,
just do it and see how.
Is this a way to manifest that Claudia Winkleman turns up at your house and starts narrating it?
Oh my God.
One of those brilliant oversized jumpers.
Host they could have picked.
Yeah, she loves it as much as we do. I saw this take. And
are they going to do I know there's the Traitors Uncloaked, and I do need to watch that.
Yeah.
Are they going to do? I want a proper reunion show. They just did it on like a Radio 2 show, didn't they?
Yeah.
Last year.
I think now it's become even more of a phenomenon than it was the first time out. It's how TV works, and it's more is always more. I'm sort of nervous about a Traitors celebrity special for Comic Relief that's has to be squashed into a 2-week format or something. It'd be funny to watch a bit, but it would I think part of the magic is how it's dragged out over a few weeks, and you get to feel like you know the characters are like. Ed Gamble has teased Diane entering the Royal Rumble. I would like to see her iconic line delivery edited over old episodes of Friends, where Rachel might be talking about Tag or Mark and being like, I don't think he's the one for me. Cut to Diane, but Ross says, and just let's get her in any situation where there's a Ross. Ross's wink down the lens, which Punk shouted out on Raw. I assume. Anyway, the Punker probably watches The Traitors. He worked with enough in AEW. Yeah, by the book. Yeah, Traitors is good.
Right, nearly at the end of the show. Thea Hale's very upset. Chase was her life, but it's all gone. JC says, hey, not over yet. I'm workshopping something. It's not done. And then bloody Lex King shows up. What the hell are you doing here? He says, hey.
Ladies.
If you need a shoulder to cry on, what better shoulder than this? She's like, I'm fine, thanks. He says, why don't you tell the king what he needs to do to cheer you up? He is perfect in this role.
When he said this, did you think about them ordering a Burger King?
Yeah.
Tell the king what you need to cheer you up an XL bacon, please. And then half Coke, half Fanta from the pop mixer machine.
Yes. Anyway.
I'm getting that for lunch now.
Riley Osborne comes in and says, back off.
I got one yesterday. I haven't got any money. But I just said it. So that's what I'm doing. Shout out to all my people with disordered eating. You're probably going to get one too now. I apologise.
So the app. I had a free one the other day as a result of the app.
I'm going to download the app after this.
Oh, yeah.
That's bad. It's going to keep me on the hook.
So anyway,
the Greg's one's already causing me enough problems. You get a free breakfast. How? Buy 9 breakfasts. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we've got a button for how long that takes me.
9 days.
Actually, I could probably do it in 8.
I'm hardcore.
It's like those serving suggestions on cereal boxes. 5 servings, completed that in 3 minutes.
Don't tell me what to do.
I just pour milk in my mouth and hold the box over my head.
Well, record! Anyway, Riley Osborne comes
cereal box, a box of even good ones. You sent me the picture of those Kit Kat ones, which I'd already had.
Make me have a baby like
Kit Kat bar. But even posh cereal. I don't mean good ones like Special K, posh, fun cereal. Reese's peanut cereal, whatever. You look at it £2 to £3 a box, right? A meal deal now in a shop is about £3 for your lunch. Imagine an entire box of cereal for your dinner every day.
Wait a second.
You're going to be more full.
Stay with me.
Equal nutrients. A lot of milk. Good day.
Adele, if anything, I'm saving money.
Why go to Tesco's or Asda or Sainsbury's or whatever supermarket, Aldi don't do meal deals, I don't think, or Lidl, and look at the meal deals and I think, meal deal? Full box of cereal. Which one's going to get you fuller?
Riley Osborne comes in and says, back off.
Do you think eating an entire box of cereal for lunch is going to have the success of the Jackknife Your Kids campaign? Both feel quite reckless out of context.
Yeah. King goes, going from hero to zero, and points, just in case you were unsure which one he was talking about.
Good bit.
I like the way Thea goes, Riley's the hero, my hero, our hero. I slip slightly.
She wants full sex.
And Riley says, as if I wasn't more on the hook for next week. Riley's... Shawn Michaels casts out his thing. The old salmon comes on.
Salmon Wilbourn.
They can have a chat. Just the two of them. Can we have a chat alone later? Thea's like, yep. And he leaves. And Thea and I freak the F out. And Jason's like, chill. You're a grown-ass woman. Which is true.
Yeah.
But what are they doing apart from...
What were you being... full sex. What were you being asked to think here about JC and Thea's relationship was you're a grown-ass woman. Just has weeks and weeks and weeks of me trying to stop you being infantilized by this pretend university all been for naught?
Yeah.
Is that what she was getting at there? Because, have we not... I was going to say endured. I mean, enjoyed. Weeks... months maybe of
oh, yeah, you got a new theme.
Yeah, is this not all conversion to being able to And now she's in that position, and so to speak. And JC's like, just play it cool.
Yeah, here comes the new Thea Hale.
No big tease about JC's fix, but she seemed fairly at ease with Chase U being finished. So I hope there's something.
Next week,
because then it's
all coming to
Anonymous.
a head.
That pervert and NXT Anonymous wasn't filming enough, was he?
Yeah.
In NXT law, JC doesn't know that her plan's been filmed for 2 weeks.
JC doesn't know. No quarter catch crew. Boring.
JC's plan needs to get a move on.
No quarter catch crew vignette. You know what to say about this?
Nothing.
But then
British Gallows.
Tricks.
I bet you Regal was just absolutely tugging it raw to this.
Yeah.
This is what we need for my son.
No catch, no quarter.
Ew.
Trick and a mellow. Wake up. Then it's time for the main event.
Shake up.
Time for the main event, Sige. It's the contract signing for the title match at Vengeance Day. Ava, new GM. She's not got a surname. She's Rock's daughter, and she's the general manager now.
That's getting longer.
How'd that happen? Sorry. Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, because he's got the thing. Yeah, of course.
Do you know what wage they're paying for that GM? $7. So. I was going to say, she's overpaid.
Raw taters, piss off. So, yes, we have Ava. She's not got the surname. She's Rock's daughter, and she's the new GM. How'd that happen? She introduces Roxanne Perez and the NXT Women's Champion, Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah.
Says there's big expectations for the match, and it's very respectful. Roxy says, let's get the respect out of the way. We respect each other. Let's be honest, this is an NXT stand and deliver match 9 weeks early. Lyra says, yeah, this is a match everyone wants to see.
I love WrestleMania season, man, honestly. The big guns.
By the time we are there in Philadelphia, I want to say, hello, welcome to NXT Stand and Deliver ups and downs. And someone goes, oh, it's worked. One person did it, so. We've been on parallel paths even for the last year. I debuted when you won the NXT Women's Championship. And Roxy says, yeah, you had a great year. You're the champion of the best women's division in WWE and arguably anywhere else. But it feels familiar. You were exactly where I was this time last year, basically. Everyone's witnessed your rise once I've had to pick myself up and fight to a title match for a title I never lost in the first place. No triple threats, no battle rules, no stipulations, no nothing. Now I'll finally be able to get the title and make it all worth it. And Lyra says, look, I've been keeping an eye on you. You've gone from a girl that's just happy to be there to a confident woman who's able to snap when the situation needs it. I'm not trying to push your buttons, but I've replaced you on top. I know you're bringing an edgier side to yourself, and I want you to bring it.
Who talks like this? Like, I'll tell you who does. You, recapping the show every week as we have done for the last year. It's abysmal, it's like...
But she said, Roxy's the last person I've got to beat to prove I'm where I am or where I should be. And Roxy says, you're so confident. Well, I've been there. Just another PLE, just another title defense. But what's going to happen if you lose? You'll question yourself. You ask what's next. Some fans won't be there for you. They might even boo you. Can you handle that? When I become champion, and I will, you'll have to rebuild yourself the way I did, or you'll crumble. And Lyra says, I've always been more mentally tough. I won't crumble.
I'm a bird. And birds don't crumble.
Apples do.
And I won't be a bird that's baked in a pie. That happened to 4 and 20 of my family members.
There we go. When I beat you, Roxy, you'll be behind me permanent, basically. And they sort of get into each other's faces. But Ava's like, keep it civil. Save it for Vengeance Day, basically. And they sign the contract. There's a stare-off. There's a handshake. There's the old title thing. And you think, oh, what a relatively normal ending to a contract signing. And Lyra leaves. or Lara goes to leave.
Yeah.
And Tatum Paxley slides out from under the table. She's been there the whole bloody time. Picks up Roxy, puts her on the table, and Lara's like, what the hell are you doing here? Stay away from me. It's chaos.
I love it, man. Oh, so it's a Roxanne Perez issue. Got it.
Figured it out.
Hides under the table. Like, waiting the whole time. She best give me a feed line for this, otherwise.
Picks up Ava and puts her on the table because your eyes haven't got used to the light anymore. Oh, bollocks.
Just they don't do the spot and she just gets packed away in one of the storage crates till next week. Hi, this was rubbish until the end, which was funny. Like,
I think that's the entire of NXT. Rubbish until the end, which was funny, and therefore we loved it.
These promos were terrible, man. Like, Roxanne Perez just going on for like 20 minutes. It's like, fair enough, because that's how long it takes to recap your entire run on this show.
Yeah.
Who can forget, of course, when I was attacked by Cora J, the skateboard didn't even work really. I'm just a small town girl living in a lonely world. I've been on a journey. It was trash. Lara Valkyria's wasn't much better. I don't mean, this is not me doing it, just let the wrestlers wrestle. But like, they're both known to be two of the stronger in-ring performers on this roster. Keep this to a minimum.
Yeah.
Like, by all means, do the bit. I quite like the bit. What's that coming from under the table? Is it a Tatum? I'm sort of into that. But just get to the point.
Yeah. All in all, though, a sensational show.
Yeah, not a 10.
Let us know your thoughts on it in the comment section below or on it. At What Culture WWE. Watch there, you can follow all three of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow Michael Sidgwick at. You can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow our brilliant producer at It's Adam Nicholas. Follow us all at What Culture WWE, as I said. And make sure you subscribe to What Culture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. We'll be back later on today to preview AEW Dynamite. But for now, this has been the NXT review. My thanks to Michael Hamflett. Get well soon, Michael Sidgwick. My thanks to Stacks as well. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you soon.